Okay, welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ava Goulet. I'm the founder of Dancing Jaguars Spirit Camp, a program that was created in 2014 to help children connect to their inner world. I'm happy that you're here on the call today, and if you would like to just jot down in the chat where you're from, that would be wonderful so we can keep track of the places people call in from. So I am going to be sending you a recording of this call and the notes, so you don't even need to take notes during the call. And I also have some screen share documents that I will be sharing during this call, and I'll be happy to be sharing those with you in an email tomorrow as well. And you'll receive lots of other goodies too. So I want to tell you a little bit about how Spirit Camp came to be. In the work that I was doing with children a few years ago, prior to 2014, I was sharing some tools and techniques with them just to help them learn how to calm themselves down. And it was really successful, and parents were happy, children were happy, and I had parents keep asking me for more. So I kind of expanded it a little bit and started doing those exercises with friends' children, and that was a big hit. So it ended up developing into Spirit Camp. The first summer I did a Spirit Camp, there were, I think, either 4 or 5 children in the camp, and they absolutely loved it. They were on fire every single day when they were getting picked up in the afternoon, and they couldn't wait to tell their parents what they learned during the day, because basically everything they were learning throughout the day was about who they are as a person and how they function as a human being. And they discovered that they're made up of mind, body, and spirit, and they got to learn what that was all about and explore what that meant for them. So I realized in that first week that there's something to this, and that children everywhere should be having exposure to these tools. And they don't. These are not mainstream things that children typically learn. I'd love to see this become part of our education system. So parents really started responding and saying that, their children want more of this, and could they take classes throughout the year with me. So that's when I started realizing that I could be doing after school workshops and doing programs at yoga studios and at meditation centers, after school places. It really started expanding, and it was just based on the feedback I was getting from the kids and the parents. They wanted more. So I want to share the first story I'm going to share with you today about a spirit camper is a story I share to help everybody who's interested in learning this program, to help them understand how simple these tools are, but how profoundly impactful they are for the families. So this child that I'm telling you about was either 6 or 7, and she had already come to one spirit camp, and she took numerous classes from me throughout the winter. So she was well versed in the vocabulary and the tools. And when the mom contacted me and said that there was an issue because somebody close to their family had passed away in their sleep, and it was creating so much anxiety for this child when it was bedtime, and she didn't want to go to sleep at night. So she was fighting the bedtime routine and winding down and getting ready for sleep, and she would just keep winding herself up again. And nobody in the family was getting any sleep. They were miserable, and the mom reached out and asked if I had any ideas for what they could try to help their daughter. So I suggested that the girl take her rattles out of her spirit toolbox and rattle and call in the essence of her power animal, which was an owl. How perfect that she had a nocturnal creature as a power animal. And she was to ask the owl to stay at the foot of her bed and watch over her while she was sleeping, and to be responsible for waking her up in the morning so she didn't have to worry about it. So the mom shared all of that information with the young girl, and the very first night they tried that, it changed everything, because this little girl had established a relationship with her power animal. She loved it. She trusted it. She felt safe working with it. And it shifted the entire thing for the whole family. So everyone was able to go to sleep peacefully and calmly every night after that. So one of the things that I really stress to parents whose children have gone through spirit camp is use your child's power animal as a source of comfort when your child is experiencing trauma or just difficulty managing something that's going on in their life, and just finding simple, creative little ways to pull in that relationship that they have established with their power animal. It brings them so much comfort, and it's such a simple tool, but it's not one that's readily available to children. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Cindy, hi, it's really nice to have you on the call. I'm Ava, and thank you for joining. And the call is being recorded, so you will be able to hear the beginning of the call tomorrow when I send you the link. And Cindy, if you wouldn't mind, would you just go to the chat room and just tell us where you're from, please? Thank you. So by the end of our program today, you're going to know 5 things. One is how easy and available these tools are, and that they can be adapted in so many ways. Kids can use them at school when they're on the playground. They can be used at home, in the car when you're commuting somewhere. It's really like the power animal story I gave you. The tools, once the kids know them, like they've got that information and they can tap on those tools anytime they need them. I'll give you an example. One of the times I was in the Arlington, Virginia spirit camp, I was staying with a family who knows me quite well. And I was going to take the oldest child to a matinee. And we were stuck in traffic on the way to Tyson's Corner. And I could feel the anxiety in the car because this child doesn't like to be late for anything. And then all of a sudden he said, Ava, I think we should do one of the breathing exercises from the breathing book from Spirit Camp. I was like, wow, I wish I'd have thought of that. So I said, which one would you like to do? And he told me which breathing exercise he wanted to do. So we did it together in the car while we were stuck in traffic. And I could just feel the energy in the car coming down like this. I mean, it was so palpable in the car. So at any point in time, a parent is going to hear their child just pop up with a tool that they remember from spirit camp that they could use in a certain situation to help them take care of themselves. And that is so powerful. So number 2, you'll be learning about how your relationship with the children around you are going to be improving with all of the social emotional learning tools that are a part of Spirit Camp, whether you're a parent or a teacher. And not only your relationship with the kids, but your relationship with yourself too. Because as you go through the Spirit Camp teacher training program, there is so much healing that can take place for your own inner child. So if you still have unresolved issues from childhood, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to experience some more healing for yourself while you're learning how to take these teachings to the children in your life. The third thing I am going to be sharing with you is how much easier it is for all of us as adults, as soon as kids understand that they have their own connection to spirit and that they can solve some of their own or answer some of their own questions by using that direct connection. So teaching children how to access that information sets them up for success everywhere in their lives, and it makes our lives as adults who have kids around us all the time, it makes our life easier as well, because we can just say, well, what do you think your power animal would say about that? Or what would one of your spirit helpers say about that? Why don't you connect with them and let's talk about what kind of a message you received? I mean, that is so powerful. So number 4, this is a business. So if you're looking for a way to create some extra income for yourself, this actually is a really good way to do it because you receive a business in a box. And I will be teaching you the steps to take to be able to create your own spirit camps, your own after school programs. There's a step-by-step process that is coming to you in your manual, and you'll be able to follow that really easily. And if we'll be setting up a call about some of the business stuff as well, a live call. So if there are any questions about the material that is there for you to start your own business, then we can answer those questions at that point in time. But also, if you're somebody who likes to travel, this is an opportunity for you to combine doing something you're really passionate about with your love of travel. That's how I ended up taking Spirit Camp from Maine to Virginia. I taught in Maine for 3 summers, and then I realized I had friends who lived in Roanoke, Charlottesville, and Falls Church, right outside of Arlington. And I asked them one summer if I could stay a week at their homes, and I ended up arranging a spirit camp in each of those cities, and I would travel from city to city. And it was a wonderful way for me to visit with my friends, do something I'm passionate about, which is teaching children the spirit camp curriculum. And, you know, I got to spend time in another community and getting to experience other people who, you know, are like-minded. And it really started, it started showing me at that point in time how this could be so much bigger. This really is a global concept here that children everywhere really need to learn these tools, because it would make them um, it would make them so much more powerful in themselves, and more confident. So number 5 is that this is an opportunity to take spirituality, love of nature and being outside, and love for working with children, and combine all of that together in a really inspiring way. So, I mean, you could have a positive impact on children around the world. So one of the things I love to tell people is that, you know, as Dancing Jaguar Spirit Camp teachers, like, we're on a mission to heal this world one child at a time. So some people are not familiar with what's in the Spirit Camp curriculum. So I'm going to give you a little bite-size sample of what's in it. The kids spend an entire day learning about energy, learning about their chakras. They're introduced to them. They learn how to balance them, open them, close them. They learn how to work with pendulums and dowsing rods. How to see auras. They work with affirmations. They learn how to do shamanic journeying, working with power animals and spirit helpers. They learn breathing techniques, mindfulness, working with gemstones and crystals, and understanding the healing properties that are in them. We do work with essential oils, aromatherapy, and EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, tapping. There's more, but that gives you a little taste of how expansive the program is. There's so much like meatiness in this program for the children, and it's really fun to see some kids really gravitate towards the shamanic journeying, and other kids gravitate to the gemstones and crystals, and others to the essential oils. It's really fun to watch the children and just observe, like, what are they just instinctively drawn to. So that takes me to kind of the mission of where Dancing Jaguar is right now as a result of the coronavirus. I mean, with everything that is going on in the world right now, teachers need relief and parents need relief. The children are suffering because a lot of them are still stuck at home, remote learning, and you know, a lot of parents don't know how to teach their kids. But with this curriculum with Dancing Jaguar, children actually become empowered to be able to meet some of their own needs. So this is really setting up a whole family for success, and it's setting up the child for success for life. But at a time like this where like everybody is just being stretched to the limit, it's really a powerful thing to be able to give children tools that will help them be able to take care of themselves when something is coming up for them. Like they learn how to manage thoughts and feelings, their emotions, where they're stored in their body, how to identify their critical self-talk. All of that, when the children become aware of all of that, they have so many more options than children who don't have that awareness. You know, if a child can identify their self-talk and go, wow, I'm being really hard on myself today, no wonder I'm in such a bad mood. You know, they can pull out their affirmation cards, or, you know, they just have so much more awareness and so many more tools available to them than your average child does. And right now with the pandemic, I think this is such a powerful thing to be able to put into the hands of children. So I'm going to tell you another story about an 11-year-old child who came to Spirit Camp, and she was already cutting as a coping mechanism. So as part of that particular Spirit Camp, we were going to be able to have a fire ceremony at the end of the week. In many facilities that I rent from, we can't have fire, but we were at this particular place. So one of the exercises I taught the children is how to tap into the feeling of like a yucky feeling in their solar plexus. Like I have them just think of a time in their recent past where something happened and they just got a knot in their stomach, and we just call this exercise getting rid of the yuckies. So I have the children just imagine that yucky feeling in their solar plexus spinning clockwise in their chakra, and then it's spinning faster and faster like a washing machine on the spin cycle. And then they were going to move that energy up through their heart chakra, their throat chakra, and then blow that yucky feeling into a pine cone, which we would later offer to the fire. And then, of course, part of the lesson is how fire transmutes energy. I mean, it's a big whole old teaching that I'm trying to tell you in like a little brief period of time. But later on that weekend, after Spirit Camp ended, that particular child's grandmother had a stroke and she was going to die. And the mom texted me that she was afraid her daughter was going to start cutting again. So I suggested that she remind her daughter of her Spirit Camp toolbox, and if she needed any support, to please call me. Well, the next day, the mom emailed me and said she was writing through her tears because the night before, her daughter had come to her and said, we need to do a ceremony for grandma. We're all going to write a letter to her and read the letter to her around the fire. And then we're going to burn the letters, and the smoke will carry the letters up to heaven. So when she gets there, she'll have letters waiting from all of us. And the mom said that she realized at that point in time that her daughter was going to be okay because she had learned tools that she could use and to help her navigate whatever was going on in her life. And you know, that child really shifted tremendously just from going to Spirit Camp that summer. And she went to school and became like a different, she had different friends. She was no longer cutting. She wasn't like, you know, wearing the dark goth clothes and dark purple lipstick and stuff. She really did a 180. And her mom swears that it's because she just didn't have any connection to what was going on and what was happening inside of her. And Spirit Camp gave her the tools to be able to understand what was happening emotionally and with her thoughts and energetically. So she was able to start taking much better care of herself. So right now with the pandemic, like I had said before, teachers and parents and children are all suffering if they're still stuck in this remote learning. There are so many schools that are in hybrid, some are just all remote, some kids are in school, but there's no after school activities. So there's a lot of there's a lot of change that's happening in everyone's life right now. So just being able to provide parents, teachers, the kids, knowledge and wisdom to help them nurture themselves through this crazy chaos that we're all living through right now. This is just really a perfect time for Spirit Camp and the tools in Spirit Camp to come forward to um, help like children everywhere. And fortunately, because this is we're kind of in a virtual world right now, we have the ability to be reaching kids all over the world with this material. So in the spring, when schools first closed, Dancing Jaguar went online immediately. Okay, so schools closed on, I don't remember the exact date, but the Saturday night before schools closed, before emails were sent out on Sunday, that Saturday night, I had a dream, and I get my messages in dreams. And I was told to get up and write an email and tell everybody that Dancing Jaguar would be going online with afternoon classes Monday through Friday. And that became a place for children and families together to come and gather and feel safe and supported, feel heard, have a place to process what was going on with their thoughts and their feelings. And parents so appreciated it because the kids had some place that was a place to go or to gather where somebody was listening to what their experience of all of this was. And instead of telling them, do this, instead of talking to them and talking at them, there was somebody wanting to hear what was happening for them or to them, or however you want to say that, and then providing them with a way to reframe it so we could look at it from a different perspective. And it was giving children immediately ways to reframe the isolation. We talked about having a daily gratitude practice and doing affirmations, and we did a group kindness project, and we talked about how important self-compassion is and self-love and critical thinking. So during those afternoon times when I was spending time with kids, we had over 100 families registered to come to those calls because there wasn't anything else like that was online for kids. So I just put this out there to you because you could be in demand like that as well, because parents keep asking for more. And I just announced this past week that there's a whole bunch more programming that's coming forward for the children from Dancing Jaguar because the parents keep asking for it. So this is the perfect time. The market is there. The parents want it. The kids want it. And, you know, it's perfect timing. So the teacher training program is going to be starting virtually on October 3rd, and we're going to go for 6 consecutive Saturdays. And we'll be meeting from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to take a break between 1 and 2 because there are some moms on the call who want to be able to give their kids lunch, or people who have their own businesses want to check their emails. So we're going to do a 1-hour break in the middle of it. So we'll do 2 hours, a break, and then 2 hours. And then after 6 weeks, you would be certified to be able to start doing all of this work with the kids, either directly in your community or virtually, as I have been doing. So I want to share with you a free gift just for showing interest in the program, in Spirit Camp's teacher training program. I have been researching for years now as many books as I can find that really help nurture spirituality and the spiritual development of children and families. And I have put together a list of those books, and there's quite a few of them. I can't remember exactly how many, but I think it's over like 60. And I am going to provide you with that list just for being interested in the program and seeing by looking at the list like how impactful that kind of knowledge would be for the parents of the children that you work with. So anyway, that will be in your email tomorrow. And now I'm going to just teach you a very short exercise directly out of Spirit Camp so you can see for yourself what the curriculum is like. I'm going to do the meditation that we do with the children to meet their inner critic. And most kids, when they come to Spirit Camp, even if they're on the upper age range, we usually go like from 6 to 12, even the older kids have never had anyone talk to them about their inner dialogue. So at first, kids are just surprised that there's an inner dialogue, and then we start talking about what that sounds like in our heads, and that we all have an inner dialogue, but that's not who we are. That is just our inner talk. So we start we start by spending time talking about inner dialogue and the negative and the positive effects of those. So if you would be willing to just close your eyes for a minute, I am going to take you through this exercise and have you meet your inner child, and then I'm going to share with you what has happened in Spirit Camps when children have met their inner critic for the first time. So let's just take a deep breath and settle in a little bit here. Breathe in and exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Now, pretend that you are squeezing a whole lemon in each of your hands. Try to squeeze the juice out of both lemons in your hands. Feel the tightness in your hands. Feel them squeeze hard, and now drop the lemons and relax your hands. See how much better your hands and your arms feel when they're relaxed. Now pretend that you're a furry, lazy cat and you want to stretch. So stretch your arms out in front of you and raise them up high over your head, way back. Feel the pull in your shoulders. Stretch higher and higher. And now just let your arms drop back down to your sides. Beautiful. Okay, kitten. Now we're going to pretend that you are a turtle and you're sitting on a rock by a nice, peaceful pond, just relaxing in the warm sun. It feels nice and warm and safe. Uh-oh, you sense danger. Pull your head into your house. Pull your shoulders up to your ears. Push your head down into your shoulders and hold it, hold it, hold it. It's not easy to be a turtle in a shell. Oh, the danger is past now. Okay, come out into the warm sunshine. And again, relax. Now you have a giant jawbreaker bubble gum in your mouth. It's very hard to chew. Bite down on it hard. Let your neck muscles help you. Tense those neck muscles up. Beautiful. Okay, now relax and let your jaw just hang loose. Notice how good it feels just to let your jaw drop. Great. Now here comes a pesky old fly and he has landed right on your nose. Try to get him off without using your hands. That's right, wrinkle up your nose. Make as many wrinkles in your nose as you can. Scrunch your nose up really, really hard. Good, good, you chased him away. Now you can relax your nose. Here comes a cute baby elephant. He's not watching where he's going, and he doesn't see you lying there in the grass, and he is about to step on your stomach. Don't move. You don't have time to get out of the way. Just get ready for him. Make your stomach really hard. Tighten up your muscles. Tight, tight. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, oh, he's going the other way. Okay, relax. Relax your stomach muscles. Beautiful. Okay, now pretend you're standing barefoot in a big, fat mud puddle. Squish your toes down deep into the mud. Try to get your feet down to the bottom of the mud puddle. Push down, spread your toes apart. Feel the squish up between your toes. And now step out of the mud puddle and relax your feet. Let your toes go loose and notice how nice that feels. It feels really good to be relaxed. Now that our whole body is relaxed, we're going to pretend that you are the proud owner of a teeny tiny drone that's small enough to enter your body through your ear. So in your imagination, see yourself holding the remote control for the drone, and it's parked nearby, and you direct it to lift off and slowly watch it circle around your body, gently making tighter and tighter circles as it gets closer to your head. It approaches your ear, and quietly and gently it enters your brain. There are many hallways in your brain. You're going to steer the drone toward the control center. You'll know how to get there. Your intuition will help guide you to the right place. Keep winding your way through the hallways. Notice a room in front of you that has a sign on the wall that says Control Center. Steer the drone into the room and you'll see numerous people sitting around a large table, and you will immediately recognize your inner critic. Take note of what it looks like. Is it a male or is it a female? Is it tall or short? What color hair does it have? Use your intuition to see if you can learn its name. And you can tell it through your drone that you're happy to meet it and that today it's going to learn how to become more loving toward you from now on. So now tell it you will leave for now and steer the drone out of the control room and along the hallways, winding your way back toward your ear. Then the drone exits your ear and you park it nearby. It needs to be ready for takeoff again in a little while. So now take your attention off from the drone. Put the remote control down and gently start wiggling your fingers and toes and start getting some energy moving slowly back into your body with a nice deep breath. And then open your eyes and come back to room consciousness. Now, at this point in time, I would ask the children to draw a picture of their inner critic. And I'm not going to ask you on the call to do that, but I will ask you to just close your eyes for a second and picture your inner critic while I bring up a screen share of a picture a child drew at Spirit Camp. All right, this picture was drawn by a 7-year-old child at Spirit Camp, and her inner critic, as you can see, there's a broken heart on the shirt here, and her inner critic's name is Mrs. Critical, and it says things to her like, you'll never be as cool as me, you'll never be awesome, you can't do anything, I don't want to see your face. You look like a worm and ugly and a dog. Mwahaha. You don't know anything and you can't do that. So this child came to me and said, and she just gave me this particular drawing. And she didn't throw it away. I just found it interesting that she gave it to me, and chose not to throw it away. So I just put it in the back of my binder, and I kind of forgot about it because this happened to be the very first spirit camp of the summer. And I taught a different camp every week that year. So I didn't really discover this again until the first week of September when I was cleaning out my binder. And I know this child's mother, and I thought that it would be, her mother would want to know what was going on in her child's 7-year-old mind, because her mom would want to work with her on this. So I sent this picture in an email to the mom, and she responded that she knew why. I mean, she recognized this drawing, that her child had drawn a picture of her. And she said, I don't say these words to my child, but when I yell, the energy behind what the energy behind her yelling, this is how her daughter is interpreting that. So she said it was going to change the way she parents her child from now on, and that next year when I see her child in spirit camp and we do this exercise again, it was her intention that there would be a different inner critic drawing the next year. So children are really, they enjoy this process, and they're very open about their inner critic and what their inner critic says to them. So I have started sharing this particular exercise with parents and teachers and social workers and therapists, because there's so much insight into a young child's mind by doing this exercise. And the kids all love like remote control stuff and drones, and it's a playful way to get this information out of a child. And then this is only half of the particular module. The other half of the module is they do the same meditation again, but they meet their inner champion. And then we start finding ways that the inner critic can learn how to become more loving from the inner champion, so that the inner champion's voice over time becomes the louder voice than the inner critic. And I even had a child once, when he was talking about the inner champion that he met in the control room in his brain. His inner champion was his grandfather, who passed away before he was born. So it's really powerful, the stuff that comes up here. So, all right, leaving this exercise, I'm going to go to another screen share of what you get when you join the teacher training program. Oh, maybe I have to go back to that one. Hang on, it's underneath that particular thing. There. Can you see what you receive, Lisa? Okay. So once you join the teacher training program, you receive a business in a box, which is your how-to set up your own business. You'll also receive, let me just show you what this manual looks like. This is a big honkin' manual. It's a 1-inch binder that is completely full. This is what you're going to get in digital downloads when you do this program. So within this binder are what I call the plug and play modules. Every year that I've done Spirit Camp, I introduce some new modules for the kids who are repeat campers, so that they have something fresh each year. And all of those extra modules that I create are what we call the plug and play modules. So you have much more material than you could use in a 30-hour Spirit Camp. So it's almost like you're getting a bonus just in getting the plug and play materials, but you've got all the material I've created over the last 6 years of teaching Spirit Camp. So let me see, I gotta look at my notes here, sorry. So you'll have the ability to create, like if you wanted to do an after school program, I haven't counted it out yet, but you probably have enough material to do ones from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year, doing one class a week just by pulling out different modules from Spirit Camp. So you could be teaching in all kinds of places during the school year months, and then do Spirit Camps in the summer. So you also receive a 30-minute coaching call from me during the teacher training program, where you can talk to me about anything that's coming up for you around the training or questions you may have about getting your own business started. And then we'll be inviting you into a closed Facebook group that is just for Spirit Camp teachers, so you can start building community with other teachers who are using this curriculum and teaching children as well. So the program itself will be meeting on Saturdays. I think I already explained that. I did, right? From 11 to 4. Okay, for 6 Saturdays starting October 3rd already. So before each call, I think the Sunday before each call, so you'll have 6 whole days to work on it, I'll be sending you your PDF downloads for the week and links to any videos that you may need to watch, because we can't do all of the stuff on a Zoom call. And I'm going to give you a perfect example what I mean here. If you look at my mouse here, my little pointer, you'll see that this picture on the left with the girl with the orange shirt, she has a pendulum in her hand, and that pendulum is made as one of the craft projects at Spirit Camp. And then the exercise she's doing here is sitting with a partner, and she's checking her partner's throat chakra right now to see if her throat chakra is open. So partnering work like this is a little, it's challenging when we're on an online call. So what I may be doing one week is sending you a video of me teaching this to children in a Spirit Camp. And then for your homework between Sunday, when you get the video in your email, and the next Saturday, is to try that exercise with somebody in your home or somebody that's in your bubble, and then either talk to us about it, or there may be a couple of instances where I'll ask you to do a short video of what happened and then just upload the video to the Google Drive folder that we'll have. So you will need to have access to a smartphone, a tablet, or some other device, because you will be asked to do short videos periodically. So I'm going to stop the screen share and see what
Ava,
I've got.
can I just pipe in here for a little bit?
Absolutely.
I had the pleasure of going through the teacher training already. And I've done lots of workshops over the years, but what I didn't expect was that there's a step by step process in that binder, the Bible, because it gives you everything that you need to go through the whole program. And it's really well thought out. And I was also privileged to be part of the virtual Spirit Camp, the first one ever in the spring. COVID got in the way, and so Ava was the host, and I was honored to be the co-host, to see how this curriculum would translate online. And Ava and I had to be very creative in some ways to try to make it work. But the neat thing is it helped the creativity of the kids. So one of the modules is you make a talking stick. So normally you would go outside into nature, you'd get your stick that spoke to you, and then you would, put ribbon on it or beads or whatever it is that you wanted. Well, early on in the pandemic, the kids couldn't go outside. So one of the kids got a shish kebab skewer. And that was the talking stick that they used. And they decorated it and did all sorts of awesome things with it. So it not only were Ava and I had to be creative, but the kids did too. And to see them, it was interesting when you're looking at a Zoom screen, when the kids are engaged, they're doing this. So you get like close-ups of their face because they're leaning in. They're so excited about everything. It was an honor to be both part of the teacher piece of that, but also then the virtual. So the curriculum does translate. So if, like Ava's saying, the plug and plays or the actual curriculum now, it does translate into virtual. And the beauty is a lot of the tweaks and the creativity has already been done. And so it's truly a business in a box in a very comprehensive way. Even if you're not tech savvy, if you're not business savvy, all of the tools that you need are right there in a very easy to use way. So I just wanted to say that it's quite impressive.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. One of the things I wanted to say too about how we had to get creative with some of the craft projects is that the kids have to make, as part of their first day of spirit camp, a sacred pouch. And typically, like in Native American tradition, you would put tobacco in the pouch, but we use birdseed at spirit camp. So whenever the children go outside and we gather materials from nature to use in our craft projects, the children learn to sprinkle birdseed in that location to thank Mother Earth for the gifts that they're picking up and bringing inside. So we came up with the idea of taking an old sock and cutting the sock down by the heel so that the kids could have the toe part of the sock as their pouch, and then they could just take a ribbon or a string or a rubber band if they needed to be able to seal it off at the top. So we really did throw perfectionism out the window. We threw out all expectations and we just had fun, and the parents appreciated that so much. There was no pressure to find a thing that they could use for a pouch, whatever that might have been. But it was just fun and creative. And the kids enjoyed showing off their craft projects with materials that they came up with in their house. And when it came time to make that pendulum that I just showed you on that other picture for Chakra Day, I did a short video. It was like, I don't know, a minute long or something, how to take a button and put a string through the buttonhole and use that as your pendulum. So, I mean, what really was custom made. That was a custom made program for that spirit camp. But now it is a thing. We can all do spirit camp virtually now.
The neat thing about the virtual was what I didn't expect was how many parents were in every single call. It was the parents too that were there, and sometimes the siblings. So it truly is a family, especially virtually, because when it's in person, you've got the child, but when it's virtually, we had groups of families. There was one that was a mom and 3 boys.
Yep.
And so, it was, and they were as engaged as the kids were. So like Ava said before, that it does help families because it gives the parents the tools that they need, not just the kid as well. So that was neat to see.
I'm starting another
No, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. I'm going to start another virtual spirit camp on October 26th, and I am advertising it as a family price of $250. Like usually summer camps, it's $250 for the first child, $225 for the second child, $200 for the third child, something like that. But I can see the value of having families participate in this camp together. So it's a family price of $250. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how many families go through Spirit Camp together. And for those of you who like to travel, there's a retreat center in Costa Rica who has already contacted me and said if Spirit Camp is a family program, and it is, retreat centers around the world are desperate for family programming. So once Spirit Camp starts getting out there into international retreat centers, she said the world is your playground because everybody's going to want to book Spirit Camp because they need family programming and it's so hard to come by. So I'll just put that little bug out there for people who really want to travel. So I want to just remind you that tomorrow you're going to get a link with registration information, the list of books, the downloads, the screen shares that I used on the call, and the link to the recording. And I can't think if there's anything else. I distracted myself for a moment. Sorry.
Ava,
So
do you have
yes,
the link if people want to register to put into the Zoom, the chat room?
yeah, I have it right
That would be
here.
great.
So I have a little confession to make about this link I'm putting in the call, my friends. Chat, hang on. Okay, it's right there. So the installment plan, which is 3 payments to do the teacher training program, the link on the installment plan is broken right now. And I know how to fix it, but it's going to take me until tomorrow to fix it. But you guys have, if you're interested in joining the teacher training program, I am offering through Thursday night at midnight a bonus to entice you a little bit. And I'm going to show you a picture of what the bonus gift is. Where did it just go? That's not it, silly me. Here we go. Okay, this is, can you see the books, Lisa? Okay, this is some of the books that we use in the teacher training program. I'm out of stock of a couple of them, but I am going to give you all of the books that you need to start your own spirit camp. So you don't have to buy the books. I will send you the books and pay for the shipping. So there are more books than this. What's one of the ones that I thought of that wasn't here? I can't think right now off the top of my head. But anyway, I will send you the books. So that will be your bonus if you sign up before Thursday night at midnight. And
that is awesome.
Yeah, that's an awesome bonus, isn't it? So it's about $150, I think, just for the books. And then I'll pay for your shipping as well. Okay. And let's see. I just want to share with you now that I really encourage you to take advantage of this program because all of the work is already done. It's ready to just hand over to you. And to my knowledge, this is the only program of its kind that provides a complete toolbox of wisdom for children. I have received emails from like 14 different countries where people are saying there's nothing like this in our country. Can you bring this to us? Well, now I can bring it virtually to them. So it's really opening up a whole new world of possibilities for this curriculum. But we've already done the research, the development, the implementation, and now it's all like put together in a pretty little package with the bow on top, and it's ready to just hand over to you. So I really encourage you to, think about this. If spirituality and working with kids are two of your passions, this is a perfect combination of putting the two of those together. And I'm going to say one more thing really quickly about a network that is already built in and established that Spirit Camp teachers can easily use to spread these camps in your area. Like even if you don't want to travel to other states, Unity churches and Universalist Unitarian churches love Spirit Camp. They're really open in terms of their spiritual beliefs, and they do not have their own summer programs for kids like more like Christian churches have vacation Bible schools. Well, Unity churches and Universalist Unitarian churches don't have their kind of cookie cutter spirit camp, summer camp. They love Spirit Camp. And I have booked at many Unity and Universal UU churches. So those churches have a network that goes beyond the United States. Both of those churches are located all over the world. So just by tapping into where their churches are, you can spread Spirit Camp far and wide. So that's how I ended up going to Virginia. I connected with Unity or UU churches in Roanoke, Charlottesville, and Falls Church to be able to bring Spirit Camps to Virginia. So that network is already there. All you've got to do is plug yourself into it and you can start taking it all over the place. And if you know somebody in a community, like if you know somebody in Chicago and you want to spend a week with them visiting and catching up in Chicago, connect with a Unity or UU church there, you've already cut your overhead because you don't have to pay for a hotel if you've got a friend that lives there. So, you know, it's the network is there. We need the teachers. Um, we need more teachers. I don't, yeah, we need more teachers to be able to take advantage of spreading Spirit Camp like a spider web all across the country and then beyond. So, are there any questions that I can answer for any of you today? Can you discuss the charge for Spirit Camp, both in person and virtual? Okay, the charge for Spirit Camp, it varies depending on the market that I'm in. And by that, I mean when I'm going to a new market, a new city, let's pick Roanoke. First time I went to Roanoke, I started looking up specialty camps in Roanoke. And I probably did a little Excel spreadsheet with 10 or 12 summer camps, horseback riding, or digital, I mean, like a technology camp or something. I just picked specialty camps, found the middle of the range price for what those 10 or 12 specialty camps charge, and that's what Spirit Camp's price was determined to be for Roanoke. So Spirit Camp prices have ranged from $225 all the way up to $400 depending on the market. So you kind of set your own price when it comes to Spirit Camps in your community. If you have another Spirit Camp in your community, then you may want to coordinate with teachers in other communities. Like Cindy, I see you're in Sebago. So there's other Spirit Camp teachers in Southern Maine. So you guys just might want to coordinate with like the price range that you're using. Or if you're not that close together, then it doesn't really matter. But like, for instance, I have done one in Windham a lot at the Unity Church in Windham. And that price has always been $275. So the virtual camp, okay, this is where it might get a little trickier because for the first time ever, there may be more than one virtual Spirit Camp being taught. Like I'm not going to be the only one teaching it. So I have set my price at $250 for a family rate. As other people start teaching virtual Spirit Camp, we may have to have a discussion because we're all going to be competing with each other on in the virtual world. And if somebody wants to put theirs out there at $200 and we're all kind of advertising in the same networks, it's going to be undercutting the others. So I think when it gets to the point that there's a bunch of us going out there with a virtual Spirit Camp, we should try to come up with a set price for what virtual Spirit Camp is, and we can totally have a conversation about that. And then the limits on the number of children for both. I've never had to set limits yet because Spirit Camp is still growing. I've never had to turn somebody away from a camp. My largest camp was either 15 or 16 children in person, and I had another adult with me and a teenager. So there are 3 of us that were managing that number of children, and it was fine. We didn't need any extra help. For virtual, Lisa, I think we started with 24 families for virtual. Is that right? And then we ended up maybe with like,
about right.
Yeah, maybe with like 18.
Yep.
So yeah, as long as there's a co-host, like Lisa and I were together on the call so she could manage the chat room. It was fine for the 2 of us to have 24 people on the call. So any other questions from anybody? Age range. Okay, for the actually for both. Well, let me take the in-person one first. In person, I would say 6 to 12. I have always advertised starting at 5 because I think the younger the kids learn this stuff, the more open they are still. So I really love starting with 5-year-olds. But then there were so many kids on the 11 and 12-year-old age range where parents really wanted them to go. I think when I first started, I was doing 5 to 10. And then when I started letting in like 11 and 12-year-olds, the 5-year-olds don't write yet. So they need extra support when they're writing the names of the chakras. So we are coming up with some solutions, like Lisa and I and a couple of the other Spirit Camp teachers have even thought about taking like return address labels and putting the names of the chakras on the return address labels so that the little kids don't have to write the words, they can just put the labels next to the chakra on their coloring page. So, so you may want to start as young as 5, but I usually go up to 12 with the in-person camps. And with the online camps, the toddlers on the call were an obvious distraction to the people in the family who were trying to take the call. So the mom would usually take the toddlers in the room out so the other kids could focus and concentrate on what they were doing. But I think we even had we had an 8th grader in spirit camp. So I think the age range in the virtual camp is much wider. But if there's a young child, they need to be watched, or somebody needs to be with them in a different room because they couldn't sit and do that meditation that we just did. Okay, friends, anything else? Because I realize we're going over time here and I just want to make sure I'm getting everything in. Nothing else? All right, my friends. So you've got the link there, but remember the link is broken just for today. It'll be fixed tomorrow. And you have until Thursday night at midnight to get your bonus for of all of the books for Spirit Camp. You'll get all the books and I will pay for the shipping to get them to you. All right. And Lisa, thank you for being on the call today. And
My pleasure.
thanks. And you guys look for the email coming tomorrow with all of the information in it. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And thanks for being here. Bye for now, everybody.